When People Rebel 1857 and After is the fifth chapter of NCERT History Class 8. Part 2 will focus on the spread and consequences of the revolt of 1857. In 1857, accumulated grievances erupted into a powerful uprising that challenged the company rule. In this video, we will trace the spread of the revolt and analyze its major consequences, including the transfer of power from East India Company to the British Crown. The topics which will be explored in detail in this video are: number 1, beginning of the rebellion; number 2, chronology of important events; number 3, Bahadur Shah becomes the leader of the revolt; number 4, steps taken by the company to suppress the revolt; number 5, aftermath of the revolt; number 6, administrative changes introduced by the British Empire; number 7, Queen's proclamation; and number 8, some important questions for recap. Beginning of the rebellion from Meerut to Delhi. In part 1, we analyzed the causes of the revolt in detail. Now let us briefly revisit the immediate cause, the spark that ignited the rebellion. The uprising began as a sepoy mutiny in which soldiers refused to obey the orders of their superior. So why did the sepoys take up arms against the British officials? They did so due to the introduction of the Enfield rifle. The seal of the cartridges of the Enfield rifle had to be bitten off before loading it into the rifle, which was the main factor of the story of the greased cartridges. Soon the news spread that the cartridges were greased with the cow and pig fat, forcing the sepoys to come in contact with the forbidden fats while loading the rifles. Both Hindus and Muslim sepoys refused to use the rifle. As the sepoys were deeply offended, they took it as a deliberate attempt to hurt their religious sentiments. Chronology of events. On 8 April 1857, Mangal Pandey was hanged to death for attacking his officers in Barakpur. Mangal Pandey was a young soldier of the 34th Bengal Native Infantry, which was located in Barakpur in Bengal at that time. On 29 March 1857, Mangal Pandey and his fellow sepoys rose up in rebellion against the British officers and even attempted to shoot them. Though Mangal Pandey's action led to his execution, his role in history is recognized as a catalyst for the larger rebellion that followed. As the news of the greased cartridges spread, the sepoys refused to do the army drill using the Enfield rifle. On 9th May 1857, 85 sepoys were dismissed from service and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for disobeying military orders. On 10th May, Indian soldiers marched to the jail in Meerut, released the imprisoned sepoys, attacked and killed the British officers, captured guns and ammunitions, and declared war on the Firangis by setting the building on fire. This response of the Indian sepoys in Meerut was extraordinary. The sepoys rode all night of 10th May and reached Delhi on early morning of 11th May because the soldiers were determined to bring an end to the British rule in the country. But the question in front of them was who will be their leader and rule the land. Everyone unanimously decided that the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar will be their leader. As the news of their arrival spread, the soldiers of the regiments stationed in Delhi rose in rebellion. Triumphant soldiers now declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as the leader of the revolt. Bahadur Shah Zafar becomes the leader of the revolt. Bahadur Shah Zafar did not want to challenge the might of the British Empire, but the sepoys proclaimed him as their leader because he was the last Mughal emperor representing a legacy of sovereignty and unity around which the diverse faction could rally, at least symbolically. So the emperor wrote a letter to the Indian chiefs and rulers requesting them to form a confederacy of the Indian states to fight against the British. Bahadur Shah's blessing to the soldiers inspired and enthused the people. It gave them hope, confidence and courage to fight against the British rule. Regiment after regiment mutinied and people in towns and villages rose up in rebellion under their leaders. The British were greatly outnumbered by the rebel forces. The defeat of the British filled the people with confidence about the collapse of the British Empire. Thus we can say that Bahadur Shah's decision to bless the uprising changed the situation dramatically. Spread of the revolt. After the British were routed from Delhi, regiment after regiment mutinied and joined other troops at nodal points like Delhi, Kanpur and Lucknow. The people of the towns and villages also rose up in rebellion and rallied around their local leaders. The map and the table will give you an idea about the nodal points and the epicenters of the revolt as well as the leaders who were leading the rebels at different nodal points. Nana Sahib, the son of the late Peshwa Bajirao II, gathered armed forces and expelled the British garrison from Kanpur. He proclaimed himself as the Peshwa and declared that he was a governor under the Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. In Lucknow, Birjas Qadir, the son of the deposed Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, was proclaimed as the new Nawab by the rebels. His mother Begum Hazrat Mahal took an active part in organizing the uprising against the British. In Jhansi, Rani Lakshmibai joined the rebel sepoys and fought against the British along with Tantia Tope. Ahmedullah Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad, came to Lucknow with his supporters to fight the British. In Delhi, a large number of Ghazis or religious warriors came together to wipe out the white people. Bhakt Khan, a soldier from Bareilly, took charge of a large force of fighters who came to Delhi. He became a key military leader of the uprising, and in Bihar, Kunwar Singh joined the rebel sepoys and battled with the British for many months. Leaders and fighters from across the land joined the fight. The company fights back. Alarmed by the unprecedented scale of the revolt, the East India Company decided to suppress it with all its might. So what steps did the company take? Number 1, it brought reinforcement from England. Number 2, it passed new laws to convict the rebels with ease. Number 3, it moved to the strong centers of the revolt and recaptured them. Number 4, one by one leaders were killed and the cities were recaptured by the British force. And number 5, Delhi was recaptured and Bahadur Shah was sentenced to life imprisonment. Earlier victories against the British boosted people's confidence and encouraged them to join the rebellion. However, when the rebel forces began to suffer defeats, many supporters deserted the movement. Aftermath of the revolt of 1857, the revolt ended in July 1859. The three immediate major outcomes of the failure of the revolt of 1857 were: number 1, the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was exiled to Rangoon. Number 2, it resulted in the end of the East India Company's rule. And number 3, Queen Victoria became the Empress of India. With Queen Victoria proclaimed as the Empress of India, a new era began, ushering in three major changes that reshaped India's political and administrative destiny. Number 1, important proclamations were made by the Queen. Number 2, important administrative changes were introduced in British Empire in India. And number 3, changes were made in the Indian Army. Queen's Proclamation. The proclamation formally announced the end of the East India Company's rule over India and the beginning of direct British Crown's rule in India. It declared the British Crown would be the paramount power in India. The proclamation assured the ruling chiefs that there would be no further annexation of Indian territories because after the revolt of 1857, the British government had realized that for the sustenance of their rule in India, The loyalty of the ruling class was of utmost importance. The Indian kings were allowed to pass their kingdoms to their adopted son. Thus, it can be stated that the Queen's proclamation was more of a remedial measure and a pacifier to reduce the accumulated grievances of the ruling class caused by the East India Company's policy of paramountcy. The proclamation also promised freedom and non-interference in the religious affairs of Indians. This was an attempt to heal the social and the religious sentiments of the people, as they could not afford to have another revolt of this dimension. Administrative changes introduced. For the reorganization of the British Empire, following measures were taken. Number 1. The Government of India Act 1858, passed by the British Parliament, transferred all the powers of East India Company to the British Crown. Number 2. A member of the British Cabinet was appointed as the Secretary of State for India, and he was responsible for the governance of India. Number 3. The Secretary of State was given a council called the India Council. And number 4, the Governor General was now called the Viceroy, which means a personal representative of the Crown. The British government or the Parliament was thus now responsible directly for ruling India. Important changes made in the army. Number 1. Proportion of Indian soldiers was to be reduced and European soldier was to be increased in strategic areas. By reducing the number of Indian sepoys in strategically important cities and regions, the British sought to maintain control over vital trade routes, administrative centers and communication network. Number 2. Recruitment from Awadh, Bihar, South and Central India was to be reduced and recruitment of Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans was to be increased. Following the revolt of 1857, a new recruitment policy favoring so-called loyal regions and limiting recruitment from areas that had taken part in the uprising in order to prevent future rebellion was adopted. And number 3, the artillery was kept completely in the hands of the British. By removing the Indian soldiers in key positions, the British aimed to reduce the likelihood of another large-scale uprising and consolidate their power. Some important questions for recap. Number 1. Describe the sequence of events in 1857 that led to the beginning of the rebellion under the leadership of the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. Number 2. Name the main centers of revolt and the leaders associated with them. Number 3. What steps were taken by the company to fight back the rebels? Number 4. How was the British rule in India reorganized after suppressing the revolt? Number 5. Mention the proclamations made by the Queen for the Indians in 1859. Number 6. Mention the changes introduced in the British Army to prevent the recurrence of the revolt of 1857. And number 7. What were the reasons for the failure of the revolt? When you understand the causes, the course and the consequences, you don't just remember history, you master it. The spark of 1857 became the foundation of a long struggle for freedom. Thank you for staying till the very end. Thank you for watching. If you found the video useful, please like, share and subscribe Indrani's History channel.